Doing day 35 of my 365 day level up challenge. Today is all about productivity and goals. I want to show you a hack, a tool that I use to increase my productivity. That's why I'm up here in the corner of your screen today, because I want to share this tool with you, which I've developed to increase productivity and increase the number of goals that you can achieve on a daily basis. And using this tool, I have been able to increase my own productivity 100% in the last week. I went from 35 goals to about 67 goals achieved in a week, which is almost 100% increase. And really, as a result of simply using this tool, there's no rocket science here. So what I want to do is I want to show you how you can use this tool. And if you are on my entrepreneur upgrade course at Upschool, you can get access to this tool. I will share you the link. This is in week 2 of the entrepreneur upgrade course, which is all about goal setting. And what I'll do is I'll share this document with you, and you can copy this document, you can steal it, borrow it, and use it, adapt it for your own purposes. So what's this about? This is about improving your productivity on a daily basis. And this is really important for us lifestyle entrepreneurs, because basically, we don't work in teams. We don't have bosses. We don't have people sitting next to us who are going to say, hey, what happened to that project you were working on? So it's really important that we find that motivation within ourselves. So using a tool like my goal tracker, I feel, is a great way to get yourself on course and almost keep yourself accountable to yourself, which is a big challenge for us lifestyle entrepreneurs, right? So what I want to do in the next 5 minutes is just show you how you can use a tool like this. And as I said, this is available to my Entrepreneur Upgrade members. If you're not a member, just follow along. You can use the ideas that I'm going to share with you in the next 5 minutes to improve your own productivity. 100% increase in a week. Okay, so let's talk about how this thing works. So basically, this is an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet. Very simple. What you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to put your dates in here in this column. So every day, what you're going to do is you're going to track the number of goals that you achieved during that day. And it's really important that we first understand what a goal is and what a goal isn't. So the way I see it, the only goals worth tracking are goals that add value to your customers. So for example, setting up a newsletter is not a goal worth tracking because your customers are not going to see that. However, setting up an autoresponder on your newsletter is a goal worth tracking because your customer is actually going to receive some kind of content, some kind of value that you're going to deliver to them. Another example being creating a new logo. That is not a new goal. That is not a goal worth tracking because a logo makes no difference whatsoever to your customer. However, creating a video for your customer, and I say customers, they may be paying customers, they may be people on your newsletter and so on. Creating a video is value, and that is worth tracking as a goal. So it's really important that you first track goals that add value to customers, and anything that doesn't add value to the customer, don't track it because you're not adding any value to their lives. Yes, you're making progress. Setting up a newsletter takes you one step towards adding value, but it's not worth tracking as a goal. Only when you actually create the content in the newsletter and produce an autoresponder, then that's a goal that's achieved. Similarly, if you give away content, if you give away a PDF, that's value. But writing that PDF is not value until you actually publish it and get it out into the public domain. So what we're going to do, let's say it's Friday, 27th of January, Friday. And by the way, if you want to work out, just a quick Excel hack here, if you want to work out how to get days of the week from your dates, something that you may have struggled with in the past, I'm sure, you can use this formula here at the top. Very simple. Anyway, so 27th of January, what we're going to do is for the day, throughout the day, you're going to write down in this Excel spreadsheet the goals that you achieved. So for example, as I said earlier, completed autoresponder. That's one. Published day 28 video. Set up PDF download. Started Twitter ad campaign. I would add an ad campaign as a goal that's worth tracking, because advertising campaign is adding some kind of value to customers. You're helping them find your stuff, right? You're actually giving them some kind of value, and they're coming to your website as a result of that value. So that's worth tracking. However, designing an image for that campaign wouldn't be worth tracking as a goal, because that doesn't make any difference. It's the actual campaign itself that's the goal worth tracking. So those are the 4 goals that I've completed on that day. So I'd write in here 4 goals. Number completed. Now, the point about this is not necessarily the number completed, but how much you improve week on week. And I've used this formula to measure the amount of goals that I've achieved today compared to the same day a week ago. And I think it's really important to track week on week goal progress, because days during the week are going to have different kind of outcomes. So for example, you can't compare Saturday to Friday, for example, in terms of your output. However, you can compare Friday this week with Friday last week. So that's what I've done here. So what I've done is I've just added a formula up here, which basically tells me to work out the percentage increase in the amount of goals achieved on this day compared to 7 days ago. And I'm getting this magic number here in this column. And this is the column that we've really got to track. So I'll bold that for now. It's basically telling me that I've achieved 100% increase on my productivity today compared to a week ago. And if you're an entrepreneur, I believe that, when we set ourselves numbers, we work towards those numbers. So this is really important, that we have the right numbers to work towards. So you can have vanity metrics. So for example, getting 10,000 Twitter followers is a vanity metric, because it doesn't really mean anything. 10,000 Twitter followers is not a goal worth tracking. However, getting people to sign up to your newsletter and getting the autoresponder content is a goal worth tracking. So it's really important that the metrics that we choose are the right metrics, and avoid vanity metrics, like for example, like likes on your Facebook page, number of followers and so on, and track only metrics that are worth tracking, which are the ones that add value to your customers or potential customers, right? And the key here is, how much are we improving on that basis week on week? Because the key here is, are we improving? Keep improving, keep growing. So if you were only to achieve 1 goal today, that's fine. Just next week, how many goals can you achieve on that same day next week? If you achieve 2, that's fantastic. That's a 100% increase. So the key thing here, this is what it does. And by the way, just before I talk about what it does and the real net benefit of this and how it impacts me as an entrepreneur working on my projects, is this color scheme here. Let me just explain. I've used conditional formatting in Google Spreadsheets, which I'll just open up for you now. I don't know if you can see this on the right hand side. You can get this by copying the spreadsheet. Basically, what I've done is I've created a conditional format for the color, so that if the value is greater than 0, it's orange. If it's less than 0, it's pink. Kind of wanted it red, but anyway, I'm not going to complain. So really what I want to see is oranges, all oranges here, because that tells me that, I'm growing every week. Now, these are not my actual figures, but as I said, week 1 I had 35 and week 2 I had 67. And I put that down completely to using this tracker, because let me show you how it actually worked for me. So a couple of things happened. Firstly, it got me really focused on this idea of adding value. So I was kind of gamifying my own work on a daily basis. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do to add value to my customers or potential customers on my newsletter? So I would list out all the things, and I would use a separate list. I use a document on Evernote for this, and I list out all these things and keep updating this list on a daily basis, and then taking these ideas across. So when I had my daily planner, I'd list out all the things I wanted to achieve today. And what would happen is I would achieve those things, and then I'd be hungry for more, purely because I'd want to get an orange. It's like the Pavlov dog, but you're kind of using that to your own benefit, right? So I'm thinking, if it was a 0, I'm thinking, I want to get another goal done. And then you just dig deep and find that extra motivation just to do a little bit more during the day, which you wouldn't have necessarily had before. And also, you find that you want to improve. So, for example, I'm doing stuff on Saturday and Sunday where normally I would be quite unproductive. So what I would do is I would say, okay, like last Saturday I did 3 goals. Today I want to do 3 or more. So I do 3 or more, and I find I want to keep improving. I want to do more. So I end up doing 5, 6 goals during Saturday, when normally I would do 0 because I didn't have a goal tracker. So what I'm doing is I'm just sort of trying to measure myself against myself. Am I improving as an entrepreneur? Am I producing more value for customers on a weekly basis? So this comes back, the uber goal in all of this ultimately is to drive sales. That's what it's all about. So why are we doing this? Because I believe these goals funnel down into sales. If you add value, if you do stuff which really does add value, not, for example, the vanity metrics that I'm talking about, not, for example, like Twitter follows, Facebook likes, doesn't add value. If you do stuff, for example, like publish content, give stuff away, or, allow people to discover your products or create better products, whatever it is, real value, if you're constantly focusing your day-to-day on that, you will drive sales as a result of doing that. So, you can't necessarily change your sales figures on a day-to-day basis, because often that's a decision that the customer has to make, and there's a lot of variables in that factor. But you can, however, keep creating value. And the way to do that is to keep constantly focused on that value creation process and improving it. So if I wasn't to use this tracker, how I would have seen it, I would have been producing maybe 20, 25 value goals on a weekly basis. In my first week of using the tracker, I went from 20 to 35 goals produced in a week. So that's about an 80%, 90% increase. And then in the second week, I went from 35 to 67. So that's again a 95% increase in the value that I've created. So, when I look at it this week, let's say, for example, today was Thursday, and I'm going to put in my goals here, as I've just discussed earlier in the video. But let's say, for example, this week, today I've only achieved 4 goals as a result. So what am I going to do? Normally, if I look at that, I think, okay, right, that's enough today. Let's just call it a day, and I'll have dinner and just kick back for the rest of the evening. But it's just squeezing that little bit extra out of you during the day. So I'm thinking, no, wait a minute, I'm not going to settle for 4. I don't want a pink here. What else can I do? So I go back to my goal sheet, all those things that I can do to add value during the day. Can I find one of these? Can I do one of these just now? So I can just get that extra goal and nudge it up to 5. Okay, I'm at 0. I'm at break even, which basically means I've achieved the same amount of goals today as I did last week. And when I do that, I'm thinking, don't just leave it there, Graham. Let's get an extra one. So I'm rooting around, looking for another goal, another piece of value that I can create for people during the day that I can add to this list. So I want to finish the day on a high. So get one more goal in there. That's a 20% increase. I'm happy with that, 20%. If I can increase 20% week on week, wow, that means I'll double in, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So the key here is gamifying and measuring your own value creation. So there's some key elements to this. The first element is your making the whole thing measurable. If you make your activity measurable, then you can understand a number of things. Am I improving? Am I not improving? And this is what I talk about in the Entrepreneur Upgrade course, is that you've got to have that compass. You've got to have that dashboard in front of you so that you know whether you're doing the right thing or not. And if it's just sales, the gap between you and sales is often so big that you can feel demotivated. You can do a lot of things and think, oh, what the hell am I doing? It's not making any difference to the sales. It's kind of random. But if it's all focused on value creation, that's the second part. If you start measuring what adds value to people, you will create revenues. It might not be today, but it may be a few weeks down the road. But if you keep planting seeds, eventually your crop will grow. You've got to approach this like a farmer. Keep planting those seeds. So the second part of it is measure what adds value. And the third part of this is compare yourself to where you were a week ago. Because if you're ambitious and you're an entrepreneur, which, you know, these two things should go together, right? Then you are going to be keen to know how you can improve, whether you're investing in your learning or feeling that you're improving as an individual on a daily basis. And this is like, again, having the compass or the dashboard. You want to know if you're going up or down in altitude, increasing or decreasing speed, all these kind of things. You know, the metrics that we don't normally have in front of us on a day-to-day basis, because, again, we don't have a boss, we don't have other team members. So the only metrics we can use are the ones that we decide to use. Otherwise, there are no metrics. You can sit in front of Google Analytics all day, but, you know, how can you change that? It's often very hard to change that within a day-to-day time frame. So those are the three things, just to review, how to increase your productivity. This is how I increased my productivity 100% in 2 weeks, 100% every week. You know, next week I can maybe increase this 100% again. That would be fantastic. That means I'll be achieving from going from 35 to 67 to 140 goals achieved in a week. That's 20 a day. That would be fantastic. I'd be doing 20 things that add serious value to customers or potential customers during the day. That's a massive investment. And that's building massive momentum. You know, maybe I don't have to double every week, but I can just at this stage improve 10, 20% every week now. So those three things, let's quickly review. What's measured gets done. So make sure that your day-to-day activity is measurable, because you can ask questions like, am I improving? You know, how do I know if I'm halfway there? All those kind of things. The second thing is measure what adds value to your customers. So understand what adds value and start making a note of this, a log of this, as I've just written down here in row 10 next to Friday the 27th of January. You can see examples of what I believe add value to the customers. Anything that really does something for them, you know, connects with them, engages them, whatever it might be. And the third thing is, you know, give yourself a metric which can, you know, give you feedback and tell you if you're improving or getting worse. Because then you can make changes. Then you can understand what works in your day. You know, if you had a really good day, if you achieved 100% or 700% increase in your goal output during that day, go back and look at it and say, well, what did I do right in this day? You know, did I exercise in the morning? Did I eat the right things? Did I take a break between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock? Whatever it is, that's what I do. I go back and look at what were the input variables that gave me a fantastic day. So I go back and I find, for example, that, well, you know, the most productive days are the days that start out with exercise every day. And I do that every day, 30 or 60 minutes on the bike. Every day. Those are the most productive days. Also, days where I take a break between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon because I'm unproductive. You know, I go to the gym or I just chill because, you know, my biorhythms are kind of on a down at that stage. You know, if I try and bash my way through that unproductive hour or 2 hours in my day, I end up demotivated. So the days where I take a break in that down period are the days I'm most productive. And then what I'll do is I'll pick it up in the evening and work into the evening. So I think it's really important that you use some kind of tracker to improve your productivity. If you're using something like this, I'd be really interested to know what kind of results you're getting. You know, I've used this for 2 weeks and I've increased my productivity by nearly 100% every week, week on week. I'd like you to try it. If you can try it, what kind of results you're getting. Take what works for you. You don't have to use the whole format, but you can use ideas from this. Whether that be, creating a goal sheet where you can just draw down on goals on a daily basis, or measuring your goals and seeing how they improve on a week-to-week basis. Whatever works for you, try it out. Be interested to know. Let me know in the comments under this video. If you're in the Entrepreneur Upgrade course, let me know by email or comments on the videos within the Entrepreneur Upgrade. And as I said, it's a little bit technical, this sheet. What I'm going to do is I'll share it. Week 2, Entrepreneur Upgrade. You can get access to this document. Go ahead, copy it, steal it, borrow it, whatever you want to do with it. Just make it work for you. My name's Graham Brown. It's day 35 of the 365-day Level Up Challenge. Thank you so much for joining me. Today was all about increasing your productivity. Here's a productivity tool that could increase your output, your value creation by 100%. It's a hack. It's a tool. It might work for you. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on. And I will connect with you tomorrow because it's day 36, guys. Looking forward to that. I'll see you. Level up. Make 2017 the best year yet.